Hello. It's a little bit early. I'm getting the Zoom up and going, but it's open office hour starting in about 4 minutes here for any agents that want to hop on, if any agents hop on. Last week we had we do realty.com verified profile setup. We had only in-house, like in person on-site agents, but today we just have open office. And if no one shows up, which is perfectly fine, I will also be with, if no one shows up with questions, I will also be talking about a couple books. One of them I have not started reading yet. I've just flipped through it. And the other one, I have finished reading the book and the field guide, and will be implementing the tools and the things from it shortly. So I'll be talking about that once we get started here. I mean, I've already started, obviously, but we'll give some people a chance to join us. So for any of you who don't know that watch this later, I am Tracy Butcher. I forgot what I was going to say right there for a minute. Anyway, I'm Tracy Butcher. I am an associate broker with Epic Realty. I just started a group slash unofficial team called Community Agents because community is key, whether it is taking part in your local community or your real estate community or your family community. Community can mean so many things to different people. And I firmly believe that community is key for having a successful business, having a happy and productive life, and all of the things that come with that. So, Community Agents is my group, and I'm always looking for new team members to join. So, if you happen to be one of them, hop on over and let's chat. You can send me a message. You can DM me through social media. You can email me. You can call me. My number and information is pretty much anywhere on social media and online. So if you are interested in being part of our team, please do feel free to reach out. I'm going to pause this real quick. We still have a couple minutes before I expect that anyone might join, if anyone comes. So I'm going to do a quick pause here, and then I will be back in just a few. All right, it is 2:01. Thank you for being patient. And I'm going to start a screen share. We'll see if anyone shows up today. Again, it's open office day. So if people didn't have questions, they're probably not hopping on. I didn't give them a topic. So without a topic, a lot of people won't come. And that's fine. If anyone has any questions or thinks of something during this hour, they'll hop on. And if they don't, well, we'll be talking about some other tools. So one of the things that I've been doing lately is I have made it a goal to try to read at least one book a week. But sometimes when I get that book, I say, I'm going to finish this in a day. So today is Thursday, and I have read two books. They go together. One is the actual book and the other is the field guide. And I didn't read Monday because I had a township meeting. So I think I'm doing all right. I didn't plan, like my goal was not when I started, like, let's read a book, to read it in a night. But then last night when I started the field guide, I was like, I'm gonna get this done tonight. I did not get it done last night, but I finished it this morning while just before our state broker meeting. And I am going to screen share. Let me get a screen share going. Just 1 second here. Got to get the right screens open so I share the right stuff. We're going to look at this one. Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to share is the 12-week year. This is the book in the field guide just finished. If you are local and you'd like to borrow my book, I will happily let you borrow it. The field guide is like a workbook, so that I would recommend getting your own copy of so that you can actually write in it and um, use it like a field guide. They also, you can see, have a planner here. So if you're a person who needs like the forms and the outlines and those things, I definitely would recommend grabbing that planner. So just getting in my notebook to get to my notes here. Let's see, wrong notes. I am also starting a lean in circle, so I had to get to the right page. Don't like that beeping. Anyhow. Okay, so the 12-week year. I don't know about you, but I found out when I read this book that I have always planned this way, except for one thing. The one thing that I haven't done, or the two things, I guess there's two things that I have not done as it pertains to the 12-week year that you're seeing on the screen right now, is one, I haven't done my plans in 12 weeks at a time. I've done them for years at a time. And let's be real, sometimes when we do that, when we get to the end of the year and we look back at them, we go, oh, I forgot all about that goal. I don't know if you've done that. I have done that. So what I like about the 12-week year is that it's short term, so you're more likely to remember the things that you made goals about. Another thing that it talks about is that if you feel overwhelmed by the methods that it's telling you to use, like to focus on the ones that are most important, and it tells you which ones those are when you're in the field guide in the book. But what is really great about the 12-week year is that you're planning everything in 12 weeks at a time, and you can start it anytime. It doesn't have to start in January. It doesn't have to start in July. Like, it doesn't have to start at the beginning of a quarter or halfway through the year. At the beginning of the year, it can start at any time. And they recommend you starting it on a Monday so that it will end on a Friday, 12 weeks from now, or 13 weeks, because they give you a week buffer for either celebrating your achievements or to squeeze in any last minute stuff that maybe you didn't accomplish during the 12 weeks. So, one of the things that is great about their website is, so it has, oh, I haven't seen that book yet, but so you can get the book, you can get the field guide, you can get the planner, but it has sample 12-week plans, and there are some in there for real estate agents. There are some in there for some different professions. So if you're wanting to lose weight, or if you're a real estate agent, or if you are a salesperson of some kind, the financial manager, I think they have one. But anyway, they have some different ones. So here's one of theirs. This is their health and fitness sample plan. So it tells you how they broke it down. And then this one is the real estate one. And this one says this person wants to get $40,000 in GCI in the next 12 weeks. So it breaks down some activities to do in order to do that. And they call the activities tactics. They don't call them activities, but tactics means the same thing. And then they also have you have the week that they're due. So for the health and fitness one, for example, a tactic that they list is getting a complete physical and clearance to exercise from a physician. Not all of us are going to do that, but it's probably not a horrible idea. And then it has the due date, and well, not a due date, it has the due week. So it says it's due in week 1. Then it has like do cardio exercise 4 times per week for a minimum of 20 minutes. And it says it's due each week, and they're going to begin on week 2 because they wanted to wait for the physical. And then they're going to end on week 13, so they get a full 12 weeks. So that's the health and fitness idea. And then the real estate one, some of the tactics that they include are take 2 clients to breakfast or lunch each week, call 10 past clients and ask for a referral, send out 5 handwritten notes each week, send out an item of value the first week of each month, call 10 homeowners to discuss opportune times to sell, post on social media 1 time a day, target neighborhood and send out 50 letters per week, develop a letter to promote selling a home, and conduct open houses at least 2 a month. So they made their due dates like every week, weeks 1, 5, and 9. So the first week of each month. A lot of them are every week. And then the open house one that's 2 a month says due in weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So that gives you kind of an idea of how they lay that out. They also have a course that you can take for free, and they have weekly success tips. They have an app you can use to track, and they have a challenge series. They have these videos. A lot of these things are free to access. You just have to sign up with your email, and they'll send you emails about it. But the thing that I really like about it are the time block ideas, because over and over again, as I talk to agents, I hear that time blocking is difficult for them. They don't really understand how to do it. Um, they don't have, or sorry, they struggle to follow it once they do create a time block schedule. So the thing that they do that makes it very simplified and easy is they have 3 types of blocks. They have strategic blocks, they have buffer blocks, and then they have breakout blocks. So the strategic blocks, they want you to do at least 3 times a week, I believe it is. I think they'd be better more days a week, but depending on the work that you're doing, it might be the best idea to do it 3 days a week. Buffer blocks, they recommend you doing every single day, 1 to 2 times a day. And I personally think that that would have to be 2 for most of us in real estate and that are business owners, maybe depending on if you are like an office admin or you work for someone and you have a set office schedule, you might only really need to do that one time a day. Did I say week before? I'm sorry, 2 times a day, at least for most of us. And then breakout blocks. And breakout blocks they recommend like once a month, at least when you get started. Once you have a good system in place, maybe you can do them more often. But what they recommend for that, why it's only once a month, is because that's like your getaway time. Okay. So let's talk about these a little bit more in detail. The strategic blocks, you set up 3-hour block of uninterrupted time that is scheduled into each week. So, like I said, they recommend several days a week where you don't take any phone calls, you don't look at emails, you don't have any visitors, you don't do anything other than your pre-planned tasks. So if in your strategic block it is to do XYZ tactics that are on your plan list, right? So maybe if we look back at this plan for real estate agents, maybe it is calling 10 past clients or sending out 5 handwritten note cards. Or maybe it is sending out the item of value. And while it says no phone calls, that means do not accept phone calls coming in. Only make the calls that are on your strategic tactics list. So if you're making those 10 phone calls, make those 10 phone calls and then move to the next item that's on your list. So the whole point is to be focused for 3 hours on pre-planned activities / tactics, okay? Your buffer blocks, these are the important blocks. And I say that these are the important blocks because there are certain things in our day that just steal our time. And they are email, voicemail, texting. Okay. So set, I think, 2 1-hour periods. Maybe it would work better if you had 4 half-hour periods, but they say 30 to 60 minutes in your day to get into your email, respond to those that are urgent but necessary, right? So none of our emails, text messages, or phone calls in most circumstances have to be dealt with immediately. Sometimes it's better that way, but usually they can wait for a little while, right? So this is your time, your buffer blocks, 30 to 60 minutes, 2 to 4 times a day, I say, because being in the industry where we get a lot of messages about our listings, about our offers, about whatever, right? Maybe we need to make it 4 times a day. But either way, 2 to 4 times a day for 30 to 60 minutes, you are going to sit down to your text messages, your phone calls, and your emails, and you are going to respond to them, delete them, whatever needs to be done with them. You're going to just do that for 30 to 60 minutes at a time. And then that's going to be closed and you're going to go on to your next task on your calendar, your next block, whether that is showing houses or whether that's meeting clients for listing appointments, whether that is meeting possible vendors for coffee or other agents to discuss business, whatever. So that's the second block. So you have strategic blocks. That is 3 hours of focused work time. You have buffer blocks. That is email, text message, and voicemail, answering, calling back, whatever, for the urgent type of calls that need you to process them in that day. And then our breakout block. And they recommend that once a month when you're first getting started so that you're not forgetting to stay on task and do your actual work, but your breakout blocks are for you. They're for your rest, recovery. Maybe it is going and playing around a golf. Maybe it is meeting a friend or a family member for a nice lunch out, or maybe it is going on a hike. Either way, the goal of this time block, and it should be 3 hours also, they recommend 3 hours, is to not talk about work at all. Don't talk about it. Can't stop yourself from thinking about it maybe, but don't talk about it. And to enjoy that personal time with your friend, family member, or yourself, depending on how you choose to spend that time. And if you are thinking about that for a minute, you can tell why they probably only have you do that once a month to start. Because if you get in the habit of taking those 3 hour blocks and going for a round of golf or going for a long lunch or, meeting up for a movie or going on a hike, and you start doing that several times a week, what's going to happen to all the work that you're doing to try to reach your goals in that 12-week period? It's probably not going to work out to your benefit. So 3 hour blocks once a month for personal time, and it can be during the workday. That's the goal. That's the point, right? It's to be during the workday. It's to take a break. It's to relax, recover, recoup, feel alive, and not just like a workaholic. All right, got that? 3 types of blocks. Put them in your calendar. Let's get to work on blocking your calendar. Okay, so that's one of the books. Now, there are a lot of other things in this book that are important. That's one of my most favorite ones because that's the thing I hear a lot from agents and other business owners is like, how do I time block? Why doesn't it work? Blah, 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 right? So let's focus on those 3 blocks first, and we can always work together on the other blocks. And you can come to me, message me, we can get a one-on-one in person or on Zoom where we can talk about how to block out your calendar and your schedule so that you can stay on task and getting those things done. All right. Well, that's been about 15 minutes. And I do recommend getting this 12-week year book and the planner or the field guide, either one. You can download the documents for free that match the field guide and the planner. They have actual PDFs that you can download and use. But if you're a person who would rather have like an actual physical book to write in and use as your planner, then I highly recommend that, especially if you're struggling with planning and setting goals and following through and achieving those goals. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for now and get back on here and chat some more. All right. So the other book that I'm getting ready to read is What to Post. Why did I get this book? Do you know why? How many of you are on your social media and every day you're like, what should I post? Here's my coffee. That's actually water. You know what I'm saying? Here's my breakfast. Here's my lunch. Look at this cool thing I'm doing. Look at this cool thing I did. Here's what my day looks like. Yes, we know we should be posting the houses that we're showing, the listings that we have, the listings that we had, our clients, and not our clients' information, but like our clients' stories, maybe without their faces and names if necessary, but posting the work that we do so that people can see that we're out in the field working every day, working hard, working with other agents, partnering, referring, whatever the case may be. What are we doing to make sure that we are best helping our clients? So we're posting that stuff, right? But some days, maybe it's a little bit of a slower day, or maybe you're just tired of posting like, here's a listing, here's a listing, here's a listing, here's a closing, here's a closing. Let's be creative and give people a reason to want to see our social media, right? Well, personally, I get in the camera, and even if I had the most amazing idea and this thing I was going to share, as soon as I push that button, I'm like, what? What was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to talk about. And then I have to start all over, right? So I got this book on what to post. And what's really cool about this, and like I said, I have not read it yet. I've only been like flipping through it, looking at what it has, how it's laid out. Because it's not like a book to read, I struggle sometimes with reading books that aren't just like books to read, like because I'm a reader and I just like to read. But the other thing I want to talk about real quick is the 12-week year. One thing that made it really easy for me to read that book in a day is that people who write books like that put in a lot of words that are unnecessary to the concepts that are in there. And that bores me. So I will be 100% completely transparent and honest with you that I did not read every single word in that book. I skimmed a lot of it and got to the parts that I wanted and need in order to implement the ideas and plans behind it. So that is how I read books like that because, quite honestly, um, they're kind of dull. They're really kind of dull to read. So if you struggle with reading through books like that, then try that. See if you can um, just skim through and find the important things that tell you how to implement the plans. Sometimes reading books like that remind me of going to real estate conferences where agents who are successful at a lot of transactions hop on stage and say things like, um, I I went to I went to happy hour every week for 6 weeks and now I make $2 billion a year selling real estate. And that's what they tell you. And then they're like, woohoo, look what I did. And they say you should go to happy hour every night for 6 weeks. It's not helpful. Those stories are not helpful. At least I don't find them helpful. Going to happy hour is not going to get me $6 billion in work a year, whatever I just said. Anyway, so reading those books sometimes feels like that, like you're just telling me a bunch of stories about how your program worked for this person, that person. I don't really care. Does it work? Did it work? Yes, great. How do I do it? Perfect. I don't need all those stories. So if you're like that and you feel that way about books like that, then please feel free, skim that book, get the ideas, or get the field guide because the field guide has pretty much all the information in it. And then maybe you don't need to read the book at all. But anyway, back to the book we're talking about, What to Post. This is a big book. It's 250-ish pages. But what is really nice is, get to the right page, is there are these like pages full of like topic ideas, right? So what is your unique value proposition? Do a poll, ask your audience for advice. What's your hidden talent or superpower? What's your favorite Disney character? Team cat or team dog? I mean, because it doesn't always have to be strictly related to our type of work. We can post things that are not strictly like, I have a plumbing company. I don't always have to post like how not to have your pipes freeze in the winter or how to change your furnace filter. Like, I don't always have to post those things. Sometimes I can post things like, like what's your favorite type of taco to have on Taco Tuesday or whatever? What's your favorite cocktail or mocktail to have on Thirsty Thursday? Same with real estate. I don't always have to post real estate things. The other thing it has is it has all your different content formats. So if you're somebody who is newer to using social media, this has a lot of information there. It has creating headlines, creating captions, daily content planner, It has a lot of tools that you could might maybe use if you're not sure like what to use to edit your videos, or how to figure out which keywords to use, or getting audio clips or music clips or sound clips for your videos. Like it just really has a lot of resources in it. Um, so it also talks about tagging, like it really is very, very detailed and gives you some really fantastic ideas. So if you are struggling with what to post on your social media, look, it even has these questions where you read the question, you fill it out, and then it helps you create content. If you're struggling with what to post on your social media, I highly recommend grabbing a book like this. Go to a used bookstore, find it on Amazon, wherever. So those are my two books for the current time period that I have been working on. I'm not sure what else to talk about with you today. Those are the things that I wanted to focus on, was time blocking from the 12-week year and what to post book. And we'll hang out for another half hour while we see if anybody else pops on with questions. Let's see what else is in my notes from the 12-week yearbook besides the time blocks, because those are important, right? So there's some keys to successful commitments in there. You need to have a strong desire. You need to have keystone actions, which are the core actions that produce the results you're after that you can focus on. You want to count the costs, like what is it going to cost you, or what commitments require, because commitments require sacrifice. You need to act on your commitments, not your feelings. So if you've committed to making 10 calls a day as part of your tactics to achieve your goal in the 12-week year, and you sit down with your phone one day and you go, I don't really feel like it. I don't really want to, right? So if you do that, you are acting on feelings. Especially if you just don't make those calls. And if you're not making those calls and that's what is going to get you to your goal, then you are acting on feelings, not commitment, and you are not really committed to achieving that goal. At least that's what I believe. So do it anyway. You only have to do it for 12 weeks. If you don't like it after 12 weeks, you don't see the results after 12 weeks, just don't do it the next 12 weeks. Perform in the moment. Don't think about what's happened in the past, and don't think about what's about to happen in the future, because you can't control either one of those. You can't change it. You can't control it. All you can do is focus on the moment and what your actions are right now. And maybe, just maybe, that will help you guide the future, right? Okay, there's 8 elements in the 12-week year that are fundamental for high performance. They are vision, planning, process control, measurement, time use, accountability, commitment, and greatness in the moment. I'm not going to go into full details on each of those because they're in the book. I highly recommend you read it, and I'm not trying to teach you the whole book. There's 3 principles: accountability, commitment, and greatness in the moment. And then the 5 disciplines, which are vision, planning, process control, measurement, and time use. And time use is huge because we talked about that time blocking, remember, right? If you are not using your time wisely, if you're not time blocking or staying on task when you are using your time, you're going to find that it's harder and harder and harder to achieve the things you want to achieve and complete the things that you have committed to completing. There's 5 stages that you experience emotionally with change. And let's face it, we're always changing. Change is something that is going to happen regardless. So you can either sit back and deal with whatever change comes your way, or you can attempt to guide it the way you would like it to go. So the 5 stages that you experience when you are changing, the 5 emotional stages, are uninformed optimism. So when you come up with this great idea, you're like, oh, I'm going to go conquer it, right? And then reality hits and you have informed pessimism and you're like, oh, shoot, now I'm never going to achieve this, right? Then you have the valley of despair. And then it's like, oh gosh, what did I get myself into? I should give up. I should throw in the towel. And then you have informed optimism. Now you're on the right track. You're thinking, okay, now that I know these things, I know that I can get to the level that I want because now I have a plan and now I know what I'm capable of. And then you have success and fulfillment. All right, the 12-week year is a closed system, so you must apply all of the components in order to be successful with it. You need to have a vision for long term. What's your big goal? What's the big thing, right? And then midterm, which is about a 3-year vision, and then break it down into 12 weeks. What can I do in these 12 weeks that will get me closer to that 3-year, which will get me closer to that long term? And next, so then you set your goals and what are the actions or tactics you need to do them, and then you do it. Okay. Then you have weekly accountability meetings. Fantastic. You need an accountability partner and accountability group. Let's form one. Then you have your weekly routine where you're going to score your week. You're going to plan your week and you're going to participate in a accountability group. So you want to be able to score. And there's a score guide in the book and in the field guide that tells you how to score your tactics and your steps, your process of reaching your goal that week. And you want to score that every week so you know how you're doing on how you're on task and how you're doing at doing that. And you have your lead and your lag indicators, which is what you're scoring and what you're checking and basing your stuff on. Your lead indicators, they happen early and they help drive the lag, and the lag indicators are your end goal. So your end results are the lag. All right, let's see what else we got here. Performance time is an easy time to use time blocking systems. Make sure that you are planning time in your calendar to actually do your planning. Don't forget that. Use your blocking. So you want your strategic, your buffer, and your breakout, which is what we talked about earlier in this video. And then you want to create a model work week. So your model work week, you're going to just get a piece of paper. It's going to be broke down by the weeks and the times, and you are going to plan out your model week. What would your model week look like using the strategic buffer and breakout blocks, as well as your other tasks, your planning time, your work time, your drive time, maybe showing houses if you're a real estate agent, listing meetings, coffee dates for new clients, new partners, whatever the case may be. What is your model week look like? Once you've created the model week, then you can plug and play your actual plans into that and make it work every week. So an example for a strategic block, remember that's that 3-hour time where you are focused, no phone, no email, no whatever. You're focused on specific work. So you can review your vision, you can look at your 12-week review, you can assess, you can plan, you can read a book, take an online class, plan the next 12 weeks, do those things. All right. Your actions to create greater accountability. Don't be a victim. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Be willing to take different actions and associate with accountability partners. So talk to people that will hold you accountable, not ones that'll just say, well, that's okay that you didn't do it. No, find someone who will say, why didn't you do that? Actually, don't use why because that's judgmental, but what prevented you from doing that action? And are you happy with the results? Get them on task. Help each other be accountable. Identify 2 personal commitments that you succeeded in keeping, and then benefits of keeping personal commitments. What are things that you have committed to and followed through with, and why did you do that, and how did it benefit you? So in the 12-week year, you have the first 4 weeks, you're setting the stage. The second 4 weeks, you're keeping it going. And then the last 4 weeks and the 13th week, you're finishing strong. And I don't have the books here to show you like the guides that it gives you for keeping notes, but let me look real quick and see if I have them still on my computer. I do. Good. Let me open these real quick and then I will do a quick screen share with you. Oh, these are just the ones from the planner, but that's okay. They'll work. Let me screen share real quick. All right. So these are samples out of the planner that kind of help you see what the documents look like. So the PDFs that come from them, the field guide, and the planner all have very similar layouts. They're just different in how they're used. So the planner has more of them because you're using it. The field guide has a lot more writing in between because you're reading it while you go. So see, we have a scoreboard here. It tells you how to score. Um, it has you judge your quality of life in all of these areas: spiritual, family, spouse, partner, physical health, business, career, financial, personal, community service. And I would guess, because this is the planner, that it probably has you do it again at the end after 12 weeks to see if you're feeling any improvement in those areas. Here, this is like the end. So this is where you are keeping track of how, see, oh, yep, it did. See, you're judging it at the end. How you executed your 12-week year, how you feel like it worked. Here's how the goal pages look. So you'd write your goal, and then you can have one goal, you can have 5 goals. They recommend having fewer goals to start with. It's easier to achieve fewer goals at one time. You fill in what your tactics, your actions are, and what week they're due. And then it even has you answer questions to see why is this important for you to accomplish these things that you've planned. And then you have these scorecards. So how many tactics did you complete based on how many were due? That gives you a number times 100, which gives you the percentage. So then at the end, when you see this here again, you can put my weekly score was 60%, 80%, 90%, 20%, whatever they were, and then what your average was. And the goal is to have 80% because that means that you're really focused on achieving that. So that just gives you an idea of what they look like. And it looks the same in the book, the sample pages and stuff. You could do it on just paper as well. Stop sharing that. Well, we've been here for just over a half hour. It doesn't look like anyone has any questions for me today for open office, and that's okie dokie. We don't always have to be on, doesn't always have questions. I just like to make sure that I'm available if people have questions as part of my time blocking. So if I have a time every week that agents can hop on and ask questions, and they can be questions about filling out a document, they can be questions about using the programs that we have through Epic. They can be questions about Epic if you're not an Epic agent. They can be questions about how to time block. They can be questions about anything that you want them to be questions about. I was a coach with Success Coaching when they had that program available. I've been trained to be a coach. I've been through leadership programs. I am an employer. I was a teacher in a classroom. So when it comes to helping others achieve their goals and schedule and plan, I am not like everybody else because I have many different experiences so when you come to me and you say, oh, I do this, I probably have dealt with somebody who does it that way too. And I may be able to assist you or at least hold you accountable for following through with what you say you're going to do. So I am going to hop off a little early today because if nobody's come in almost 40 minutes, I'm not expecting anyone to show up. And I'm going to sign off again. I am Tracy Butcher with Communicate Agents powered by Epic Realty. And you can reach me tracybutcherrealtor@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Ideal Estate. I think that's all. TikTok. I'm on pretty much all the social medias. I use Instagram and Facebook probably the most, but I'm everywhere out there. And my phone number is 810-428-7092. You can call or text me at that number. Any which way that you would like to reach out. If you have questions, you can watch for these in the future. If you are an Epic agent and you have joined with myself or my partner, Renee Hendricks, you've already been invited to join the group on Facebook. It is a private group, so the information is not shared out with the public. It can be found. It's just private, so only the members can see what's posted, and it can't, like the events from there cannot be shared. If you are not with Epic, that's also fine. Reach out to myself or my business partner, Renee Hendricks, and we will invite you to the group. You just have to friend us on Facebook, and we will get you in the group if you're interested. And yeah, if you're with Epic already and you want to be part of our group, that's also fine. You just have to reach out and ask. Like, it's not exclusive for just us. It's just that we've only invited those people. If you want to join, you're welcome. And every day there's a daily tip on there that I get from another source. That's a fantastic source. If you would like to know that, if you see the tips and you want to know what source I get them from, let me know. I will share it. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm just not advertising for them all the time, even though I'm advertising these books and stuff, whatever. I've read them. It's not like I'm just advertising them. So, yeah, I'm going to head out. It was great chatting with you today. I hope you found the information about the 12-week year and what to post book useful and helpful. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 2 p.m. There is a topic, but I have to look at my list to see which topic it is. However, if people show up and have questions that are not related to that topic, that's also fine. I don't have to stay on topic. They're just some topics that I put every other week to give us a guide if we need one. I think it's Sisu next week, but I could be wrong. Anyhow, I will talk to you later and have a great week. See you next Thursday.